Watching the Valley's news leader with Brian Loftus, Christiane Klein, and Ted Florendo. This is 8 News Now at 6:30.
Well, tomorrow night, the Golden Knights take to the ice at T-Mobile Arena for their season opener. And of course, 8 News Now will have live team coverage.
They're back, and tonight we're joined by Las Vegas Weekly's Case Kiefer. They've got a lot to live up to. Case, what are the expectations? You kind of took in the magazine a positive and then a bit of a more pessimistic view. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I usually like to pride myself on being a pretty positive guy, but I did take the pessimistic view, actually, in the magazine, and I don't even really think it is that pessimistic. I'm not saying this team's going to be terrible or anything. I just think you look at last year, it was a dream season, and they're called dream seasons for a reason. It's hard to repeat, so I kind of want to pump the brakes a little bit when people are, the expectation Stanley Cup or bust. Let's see how these new pieces come together. Let's hope for the Golden Knights to have another good year if you're a fan, and then kind of see what happens in the playoffs from there.
Speaking of new pieces, we've got a couple new guys on the team. How did they come to be, and what can we expect from them?
Yeah, well, George McPhee, the general manager of the Golden Knights, really wanted to focus on improving the second line in the offseason. He brings in 2 new guys, Paul Stastny and Max Pacioretty, and honestly, the second line could end up being as productive as the first line last year, which was the best in the NHL. They're 2 very close guys, and in our edition of the Las Vegas Weekly this week, it goes into a little more depth of just how close they are. You hear a lot of times that athletes are friends, but these guys are deeper than that even.
Bettors aren't getting those high odds that they got last year, obviously, but what are the sharps and the casual bettors thinking about this year?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, these hockey futures used to just kind of be glorified decorations on betting boards. No one was really betting them going into the season. Now, this year, you go, you talk to people like the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. They say this is the biggest decision on an over-under win total they've ever had. They opened the Golden Knights over-under 96.5 wins, or 96.5 points, excuse me, in hockey. Got all the way to 101-5 with everyone just pounding the over. Some of the bigger bettors have come in and kind of taken it down a little. I think now it's at 99.5. But it's going to be really interesting. The sports books, again, are going to make more money if the Golden Knights lose.
We created some of those rivalries last year, and I know that Knights and Kings, those are always a good one. What are some of those games that people shouldn't miss that might but not be on your radar?
Yeah, well, for sure right now, of course, everything's on tomorrow night, but looking a little bit further than that, I think going into this season, with all due respect to the Kings, I feel like the Sharks have even surpassed them as the team that the Golden Knights fans want to get at the most, and they're going to be here, I believe, 2 days after Thanksgiving will be their first game at T-Mobile Arena. Erik Karlsson, their big acquisition, who the Golden Knights were after for a while, has already come in the preseason, got booed. I think you're going to see that same type of crazy atmosphere just amplified by 10 being the regular season, so I think that's November 24th. That'll be a big rivalry game to watch at home.
One guarantee, Christiane, with those games you can't miss is it will cost a whole lot more to get in. It's going to be a whole different ticket price. Thanks so much, Case, for your time, and you can read more about the Golden Knights in this week's edition of Las Vegas Weekly on newsstands tomorrow.
Okay.